Here, Doc 29 Marketing. This is not the 11 a.m. Monday morning marketing webcast. That was yesterday. However, I was told that the viewing entertainment of the PowerPoint presentation had actually stopped about 5 to 10 minutes in. So that's not necessarily a good thing. So I'm going to do this again real quick to hopefully cover what we need to in regard to the topic of Google changes that will make or break your business. So let's get started without further ado, okay? Google is changing a lot of things, folks. It is very important. Typically, I usually don't do a PowerPoint presentation with you guys like this, but I gave this presentation about 2 weeks ago to business owners. It was very well received, and the topic is very, very timely. So here we go, right? So let's go ahead and maybe, here we go. Oh, here we go, good. It looks like it's working now. All right, so we're gonna cover the big stat. We're gonna cover the holy grail of search. We're gonna cover the algorithm update. We are going to cover the nitty gritty tactics. Now keep in mind, we're talking to business owners. It is not your job to know what an H1 header tag is, or to make sure your metadata is appropriate, or that your images are named properly, or that you submitted your stuff to Google. That is somebody else's responsibility. If you are doing that, that is a problem. You should be running your business. However, it does not excuse you from being responsible with your departments, with your company, okay? So I'll be giving you the tools necessary so that you know how to manage properly. Back to the basics. Basics are important, right? Spring training, all that fun stuff. Action steps. So big stat. There are people out there that believe that Google does not run their lives. To be quite frank with you, if you are one of those where what you're doing interactively isn't making any difference, we really need to talk. It should concern you what Google is doing with your business. If it is indeed not, okay, and you are not concerned with what changes Google's making, that tells me that you are not either tracking your leads through Google, they're not measurable for you, or they're really not important, so you're missing a huge opportunity. So that being said, 92%, folks, 92% of the search results are coming from Google. So please, it makes sense to understand where this stuff comes from. I was surprised that DuckDuckGo was as small as it was, actually. I figured it would be on a little bit of a gangbuster. And Bing in years past has been much higher, anywhere from 7 to 10% or so of search engine rankings. However, that number varies and has continued to go down. That being said, your analytics might be a little different. So if you've never seen your analytics, that's a problem as well. So contact us, reach out. This is a slightly different take on what you just saw when it comes to taking a pie chart or taking the actual numbers and applying it to a line chart. And you actually end up seeing just the sheer gap in regard to Google stuff versus every other search engine out there known to man that we're using. Some of you do not know where search engine results come from. You know that it's important to be there, but you didn't know exactly where those component parts are in terms of that search engine results. We're going to kind of walk through that with you real quick here. First one is paid search, guys. It's right at the top. Usually it says ad. You're paying per click. So an agency or yourselves would say, okay, I want to go after these specific key terms. I'm willing to pay X dollars per click. And when users do a search in a certain area or based on keyword stuff, my ad shows up. Now, if your ad is enticing and it's attractive, which you should be testing your ads and making sure you boost what they call click-through rate, you should see increased performance. That means more clicks at a lower cost per click. If you're not seeing that, you're continually paying more, we should be talking. It can be very, very expensive to play in these campaigns, and you need to be tracking your conversions, calls, clicks, appointments, whatever, so that you know what actually lands in the bucket. If you're not doing that, again, we need to be talking. The section of Google My Business, that's this area over to the right. Yes, this is indeed Dr. Fiorini, a chiropractor actually in Tallahassee. Great physician, by the way. But we have, for example, you see him on that top right, which is great, reviews, all that fun stuff. But he's got I think he's got 4 listings going on for Google My Business. So you can have the primary business, but you can also have, in his case, the 3 other doctors, 2 other doctors, including himself. So you can have the practice name, doctor's name, take them to that specific landing page for that doctor. Again, practice name, doctor's name, Dr. 2 takes them to that specific page. So literally you can have different physicians, account reps, right? Sales reps, those kind of things, optimized profiles on the actual landing pages, all that great stuff. You can even do the same thing for divisions, you guys. So this is a huge area. We have rankings for physicians, another physician, a chiropractor in Ocala, for example, who is ranking for auto accidents for their location by using this exact same thing. So think about how expensive the term auto accidents would be in a city. Yeah, we're doing really good there. Organic search results. Oh, by the way, and those are not paid, but you can optimize those profiles. Organic search, that's the typical area where we call like SEO, search engine optimization. You optimize pages and websites to rank organically in Google for those kind of things. It's not paid, but again, optimized content, right? Or optimized websites. In this case here, this specific search prompted a YouTube video, right? Doesn't always have to be that way. Some of these things get changed up a little bit, but the YouTube videos are a great way to, one, get content that's interesting and engaging, right? It's video. But you can also, in this case here, Google doesn't necessarily use the signal all the time, but in this case it does. So if you have an optimized video, aka the title of that keyword is in the title, and even the description and things like that, the YouTube video, it may indeed show up, right? Images, same exact thing. Your alt image and title text tag, and even the name of the image when you upload it. Some content management systems rewrite that photo name or that image name. That would be not necessarily the best thing, but like WordPress and everything like that kind of keeps it there and present, which is very good. But even like infographics or diagrams, think about these kind of things. In this case here, we see the 3 doctors actually, and even the video snapshot for Tallahassee, which is where he's at. Other spots, maps. Sometimes that maps area, depending on what that search query look like, Google may pull that Google My Business information. Again, we already discussed that is an unpaid area. However, paid does influence it as well. Okay, so understanding where that stuff comes from. Oh, the last thing is Google Shopping. Some of you might be selling products. By all means, that carousel shows up typically at the top, says shopping. You click it, takes you right to that vendor page. Or if you click the shopping area, it takes you to the Google Shopping area. That is managed and run through the merchant account through Google. Again, if you sell products, you should be doing this. The reason why is a lot of times, especially if it's e-commerce, all you need is a simple plugin add-in, all right, and a Google merchant account, and you can sell right through that vertical. Being right at the top of Google for search queries matters. So again, it's a great way to kind of get your product to be rolling off the shelves. Okay, so the Google Page Experience Update. This is May 2021. Join or die, people. The definition, page experience is a set of signals that measure how users perceive the experience of interacting with a web page beyond its pure information and value. Basically, there are technicals that are important to consider in terms of how a user finds a page, what they do when they click, when they go into that page, and those things matter. And Google's trying to figure out what those things are and measure them to make sure that the optimal guest experience is had. Makes sense. It is happening now. That's why it's important. You guys have some time. Make sure we work on this, get this figured out, right? Current signals, mobile friendliness. If your site is not responsive is what we call, that is a problem. You need to fix that. There are tools out there to be able to go ahead and kind of with like Duda Mobile and things like that, that take your current site and make them responsive. They make actually basically a copy of it. It's served in an MDOT kind of format. That is not recommended in terms of what Google does. It is a good patch for a little bit, but it's meant only as a patch until you're working and finish something of responsive value. Safe browsing, HTTPS, your site needs to be secured. You can see that in your HTTP area. If you're selling anything, it's likely you guys already has it. But if you're just an informational site, this, guys, is important to you. If you're not, you need to be doing it because Google sends a little bit of a warning with like Firefox and other search engines. All right, so make sure we're doing that. Intrusive interstitial guidelines, that's where there's like usually like a pop-up, not good. So some of these things that Google's actually looking at: site load time, interactivity, and visibility in terms of the stability, where stuff is at. Guys, this is important. As a business owner or somebody in charge of your marketing and advertising, you need to know these big kind of picture dashboard elements so you can tell your team, whether it's your IT or graphic design or web team or whomever, to go fix these problems, right? So this makes sense. This is your responsibility. It's not important for you to actually do the changes because there's far better things to be doing with your time. The area I'm going to focus you in on is search.google.com. That's search.google.com/search-console. This is where you see this stuff, and you get nice little reds and greens and yellows to go ahead and fix things, which you can send to your people to get their fix in place. Okay. Two other things that are important. You can use from a technical standpoint, if you want a little bit more information, you can use the Google speed test. You can also use GT metrics, gives you a nice little waterfall of what's loading behind the scenes. Again, a little too technical, but for you guys, but at the same time could be effective. Okay. Google Page Experience Update. Here we go. Take steps. This is a continual improvement process. This is not something that you need to be like, oh, my SEO guy sucked. All right. These are things that have evolved over time. These specific dashboard elements did not exist 12 months ago. They were just starting to test them about 6 months ago. And now they're full force in place and ready to rock and rumble and make changes in terms of algorithms. Okay. So know your keywords. Okay. Don't guess. No. There's Google's estimator tools, which are great. They're also great at making Google money, not necessarily figuring out what makes the most sense for your business. So what we end up doing, you guys can follow the same process, is build out every possible conceivable keyword that somebody might type in, or keyword phrase that somebody might type into Google, find your product, service, competitors, reviews, all these things that you could find, variations of your products or service, solutions to those things, massive keyword list. Then you test that massive keyword list using the Google AdWords program. Now, what we like about the Google AdWords test is it is very, very, very audited. And you can test, different areas. You obviously can test the keywords in terms of usually phrase match is what we would typically do, or exact match. We don't use really broad for the testing purposes, but we want to make sure we know which keywords. So when somebody types that in, our ad shows up, it gets counted in report. So after that little test runs, you get a nice opportunity to see all of those keywords that people typed in. And you get a choice to go through and say, yep, we can do that. We're going to do that one, not this one, too broad. This one looks good. Yes, this one. And now you, with that list of gold, basically, the keyword list, you can actually go ahead and take that and build out content pages based on who, what, when, where, why, and how, right? To know who you're targeting, right? Goes right into this. Once we identify those top keywords, we can identify who our top customers are, top product, or top prospects are, and then we can actually create content that answers the question based on that keyword input. Hopefully that makes sense. The estimator tools, by the way, are 300% off in this. Okay, it'll cost you anywhere from 2 to 3 times as much money, and you'll get maybe 1/10 the actual clicks. If you need to show me, I will show you how this is done. And I will even show you examples if you need help in understanding this. But also, as we think about this content, we know our keywords, we know who we're targeting, we know what unique value proposition we have that brings to the customer, the prospect, that our competitors do not, right? So we need to know that. We also then need to consider those optimizations for mobile. This experience is very different than the one in digital or a tablet, okay? Make sure that that experience rocks. That's the big takeaway here, guys. Improving page speeds. Google is crazy doodles about page speeds like load times. Make sure you're continually moving that needle in the right direction. And then call to actions. Time and time again, we see these optimized pages or pages that are ranking for specific terms and no call to actions, and especially big corporations. The big one is this: oh, the phone number's up there, or the contact page is there. Guys, people are lazy. And by the way, those call to actions might be different on the page that you just helped them understand something they were searching for. So by all means, take the opportunity to think about where that prospect or customer needs to go next, or what they may need to see or do, okay? Think about those call to actions. The essence of page experience. Main content has loaded. That means loading, right? Interactivity, that time that the user interaction a tap or a click in this case, time in order to respond. So page loads and they do something. Visual stability, preventing annoying or unexpected movement in the page content. Popovers, right? They can be helpful. We use them a lot for COVID to say, hey, these are our COVID policies. Those are all great things, but you need to consider the user experience as well. Another thing that's really been annoying, especially as sites get dynamic and creative, sometimes we get a little too funky with the layout. So we're not guiding the user in a proper story. Think about a book, right? That you turn the page, you're not going to chapter 14 before you go to chapter 1. Think about the customer's experience and what they need to see based on where they're at on the specific pages, right? Don't overcomplicate it. If I need to mouse over everything to figure out where to go, that's a problem. It needs to be clear and simple, guys. So these are the areas that you're going to see in that when you pull up search.google.com. The largest contentful paint, we're going to do the first input delay, and then also the cumulative layout shift, right? And it gives you a nice green, yellow, red, just for people like me that are really simple, okay? Yes, this stuff matters. Time of site load speed matters. If you go up to 10 seconds, look at this. Bounce rate increases 123%. 6 seconds, not that much, right? An increased bounce rate of 106%. Guys, very, very important to get this right. Google, go, okay, well, the site doesn't load as fast as it could. Well, guess what? Not only is the user ticked off because the site didn't load as fast, but Google, if you're doing any paid media, the cost per click is going to go up. User experience isn't good. Those after-click response elements are not going to be what they need to be. You know, if the page loads in time and but they bounce back out, guys, it's very important that experience freaking rock. It is your responsibility with that. Okay, clean code and matter. One of the questions we get all the time is, how long is a blog post supposed to be, right? How long should my content be? Guys, as long as it needs to be, as short as it possibly can be, and still communicate the process. You need to be thinking in terms of maybe give them a short snippet, and then you allow guests to hyperlink to other areas if they want more and more detail, right? That's absolutely acceptable and should be considered. Also use graphics, right? Kind of what we talked about before. Visual indicators will be coming, right? So if you know, just like the ad is noted when you do a search, these other areas, other elements in that search results page will start showing this stuff and will be guiding users. Okay, reward the ones that are doing it right, penalize the ones that are doing it poorly. Content is still king. I'll say it again. Content is still king. One more time. Content is still king. Well, that's content written form, video, etc. Your core stuff as you promote it is what really, really matters. If you have sucky content, it does not matter how good your marketing is. You're going to take them to a place that is void of information that will hurt you. In fact, Google even says great page experience doesn't override having great page content. Danny Sullivan also said the same thing. So makes sense, guys. Just go do it. Why it matters. Better user experience keeps you in the top spot. Looking at those vitals plus good content. Again, Google's going to reward those that are doing it right, penalize the ones that are doing it poorly. Google says it's important. Go do it. User gets more done with higher engagement. That means more money for you. When they're engaged, they're more likely to spend money with you guys. Benchmarks are going to be used in rankings. Heed the warning, or you can crash and burn. Not to steal a visual picture from Top Gun, which, great movie, important, right? Google says it's important. Okay, just make sure. Site owners, you need to make this a priority, seriously. Bad experience? Yeah, enough said. Slow page results? Yeah, poor. Bad structure design. If you're users, you should be looking at your Google Analytics and determining what people are at when they're looking at your site. Make those areas easy to find and navigate to. Also, shout from the mountaintop your unique value proposition. Very, very, very important. Understand what makes you unique. And that might vary or at least be twisted a little differently depending on where they're at on your website. Okay? The features, benefits, kind of think benefits. Lack of engagement. Yes, sell. Yes, absolutely. But also consider engagement, entertaining, also these soft signals, right? Page experience. Guys, this is found in that search.google.com. This is the Search Console. You see it over there on that top, that left area over here. Make sure that you're going to these, and they kind of bleed one into the other here, but they make it really simple. Reds, greens, right? Real simple stuff. This is where you guys need to be looking on a regular basis. This is where you say, I need this fixed. And then you tell the team about it and they go do that stuff, okay? It does matter very, very much. It'll even give you things like needs improvement or if they're good. If there's problem areas, right? It'll even tell you, like in this case here, text is too small, click elements too close together. You fix the problem goes away. Google is happy, right? We want to make sure we're doing that. So steps to take, know your metrics, do a website audit, right? So, look over those kind of things. Use Google's online mobile-friendly test or page insights to determine, this is again a technical, but you can have your teams do this so that the improvements are continual. They keep coming on, right? As you get better and better and better, Google's happier and happier and happier. This is an opportunity to bring your teams together. Your SEO, your IT, your website design, you're a creative person, right? Maybe there's somebody in there that says, yeah, you need to restructure how this thing looks. A consultant. It's a great opportunity for you to change this up, allow for a better user experience, and to get massive increases in performance, okay? Back to the basics. I was really surprised I pulled this up, you guys, figuring that mobile algorithms were increasing in terms of the global traffic from mobile. It's been 51% since 2017. I was surprised. So we kind of hit kind of a plateau there, which is interesting. Some things are just better, using a desktop or a laptop. Also time too. But anyway, improve user speed, use the tools. Some of you might be using content management systems like WordPress that have a lot of really great tools that allow you to solve a lot of problems quickly. Those vitals, really quickly. Looking at those waterfalls and what takes time to load. Other content management systems may be a little bit more difficult or fewer options in terms of simple plugins where it's actually code adjustments that are going to be necessary that are not kind of like bolt-on. But either way, we can review that if you'd like. Separate call to actions. Again, considering the user experience, even on those each pages, right? Clear, short, specific, bright typically, correctly shaped in positions. Guys, it should look good. It should look good. You want to be there, okay? And those areas that your eye is drawn to on the page, they should be areas of clickable elements that are where the user should go next. We need to be considering that. And also use alt image text tags and things like that for those. So big takeaway, content is still the most important factor. It's written copy or even online videos and things like that. Folks, it's about generating good content. What makes you unique based on keyword and then being able to promote that out there, okay? Images, diagrams, comparisons. Again, we're thinking about our guests. We're thinking about what their needs are and what they're trying to accomplish when they're there with us. So we're going to create things, copy, content, videos, whatever, get them on pages on our website that allow for them to get their answer answered, right? And to be able to do something with it. White papers, PDFs, engage in promotion. So the core content of your website, once you've got that content there with the videos and the pages the way you want them to be, then you can start creating ads and things like that to drive them from Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, pickup, right? It doesn't really matter. Google AdWords. All right, that content is out there. Those ads are short snippets, basically introducing, right, that specific brand, product, or service to that prospect using, using the media that's available, right, as a distribution tool of information and content, targeting them
and then drives back to the website. Hey, consider the keywords, right? Consider the prospect, where it's their pain, and what makes you special. You can usually get to work from there. So there's 4 responsive now, folks. You have 4, just 4. Okay. The first one, go ahead and scan the QR tag, pump in the email address. In fact, actually, ROI by Chris.com will get you the same Calendarly link. Let's set up a 15-minute consult. Let's review what you want. You'll avoid destruction. You'll grow your business, and you'll just live simply happy in your lives. That's really what's going to happen. If you're not ready to kind of do that 15-minute consult, maybe it's a trust issue. I need to earn it. No problem. Let's go ahead and, if you want to sign up for the 11 a.m. Monday morning marketing webcast, you certainly can do that. You're going to learn more. You're also going to be much happier. You can go ahead and scan that QR tag or pump in that URL, and voila. It's also available at marketingwebcast.live. Just go ahead and sign up. You could do it yourself. You could have your IT person do it. They may or may not know the technicals. It's fine. But the fact is, you're likely, so many times we see, yeah, we've got the team to go do that, and I follow up 90 days out and it's not done, or it's being implemented poorly, right? So here's an idea, no pressure, check in, 90 days, 160 days, 180 days out, go ahead and scan the QR tag, go ahead and set that 15-minute consult up, and we'll do a simple touch base. That's all, no worries. You could also do absolutely nothing. That is indeed your choice, but I assure you that that may not be the best choice available. So I hope, folks, that helps you. I know I was talking very, very quickly. Head to ROIbyChris.com. You can set up that 15-minute consult, and we'll definitely take it from there. You guys have a great rest of your day. I wish you very, very well. Make it a productive, short week.